Are you ready for the Fallout TV show to completely destroy Fallout New Vegas, one of the most best games ever made? That's right, Todd Howard's dream is finally coming true. And you know what? I can't even blame Todd Howard. If I was such an insecure 5'2" midget, I would also want Fallout New Vegas to be completely ruined, trashed, and forgotten, because his legacy, his grand magnum opus, which was Fallout 3 at the time, got outplayed by a game that got made in less than 2 years by not Bethesda. I mean, he has all the reasons in the world to be mad and spiteful about this.
Season 2 of the Fallout TV show has been filming since November, but just in the past few weeks, we've gotten some of the most notable set leaks for the show yet. Because yeah,
it's Novac! Yeah, it's Novac. Yeah, it is.
The Fall TV show is heading directly to Vegas. Filming is currently going on in North Hollywood, where we can see a recreation of the Vegas Strip is currently being built. From some of the leaked set photos, it seems like a decent chunk of Vegas is going to end up being CGI and some green screen work to make it all flow together. It's almost like they have these little stations.
I honestly think this perfectly encapsulates why Hollywood is such a absolute shitty mess. Do you see this? This is a green screen. Do you know what's behind it? It's kind of hard to see. I think you could see it a little bit better at the start. Yeah, you can see it here. These are specifically made things that are able to move the green screens up and down or slightly left and right. Yes. This literally saves you no space, no nothing, and it is arguably less effective than making a mechanized thing that just moves this green screen up and down like this, and you just attach it to some kind of basic tires that can be moved with hands or with a golf cart or something. This is why Hollywood is complete trash, because these things most likely literally cost multiple million, are efficient, break often, and are not even good at their job. But you gotta buy them, because Hunter Biden is on the board of directors for selling this crap, probably. So yeah, this is why Hollywood is such an absolute astonishing piece of shit. It's just honestly life at this point.
From some of the leaked set photos, it seems like a decent chunk of Vegas is going to end up being CGI and some green screen work to make it all flow together. It's almost like they have these little stations for filming in front of various signs with big green screens nearby. And one place that will almost certainly get an extended interaction is actually entering the Strip. We can see the iconic Welcome to the Strip entrance being recreated. It has a big green screen behind it, suggesting that you'll probably be able to see through this entrance into the Strip, kind of looking down that main street, but you're also able to see a destroyed Securitron propped up against the entrance. We get a view of this in the post-credit scene to end off.
Everything is destroyed because it's the Bethesda TV series. The greatest thing to ever damage Fallout and Fallout lore. Completely rewrote goals, made everyone who's not a Vault villain literally retarded, capitalism bad because communism good, obviously, because the grand end of capitalism is killing all the consumers so capitalism doesn't work? Yeah, that's the point. How does that work? I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not the one who decided that's going to be the idiocy that we're going to go for. Okay? Super mutants are invulnerable. Ghouls are invulnerable unless your main character shoots them. It's a fucking tragedy, okay? Ghouls go feral unless they drink this magical serum that existed pre-war for some reason. It was made in high quantities. I don't know.
The series, a mix of destroyed NCR vertebrates, scratched up and broken Securitrons, and of course a bunch of Deathclaws. And going into Season 2, we really have no idea if the Vegas Strip is a ghost town or not. From some of the leaked set photos, we do get some clues. It definitely seems like some kind of new group has moved in here, but the Strip itself does appear to be largely deserted. But you have to imagine, as the major characters come up to this spot, there's going to be some interaction, calling back to the various methods you could use to get into the Strip in-game. But beyond that, as we saw, we have several other iconic signs from Vegas being recreated, including the Welcome to New Vegas sign, which is basically a perfect recreation from what we had in game. Something you'll notice.
I love how People just, it's like in the game. Yeah, it's like in the game, dipshit. That's the whole point of it. It's not really that impressive. They made a dysfunctional weapon in reality now. 10 out of 10.
Notice throughout most of these leaked set photos is the prop team for the Fallout TV show continues to be immaculate, although one of the curious parts of the set is the signs. Most of these signs don't actually match their in-game variants, so fans are speculating that this might be secondary or really side signs for many of the casinos. So while, for example, the primary sign for the tops will be CGI, perhaps this one won't be. You'll just kind of see it in the background or off to the side. Although, there is one sign properly being erected with the Lucky 38, and this is new. A lot of these set photos of this Vegas strip being recreated are several weeks old now, but just over the past 72 hours, the Lucky 38 sign has been going up and being posted online, along with an actual physical reconstruction of the Lucky 38 entrance, which, yeah, this also looks pretty perfect, and even this brown brick building that's right next to
Not finished. This looks perfect.
the sign might be the
Okay, the only thing that kinda is good about the Fallout TV show season 2 is the fact that Eva Parnell still has a chance to create children with me. Okay, that is it. I will forgive the fact that Moses himself split her fucking eyes apart. I will forget the fact that she's British, yeah, and she drinks water. That's disgusting, but I will take it. Okay.
monorail
I hope Maximus suffers the worst death possible, which I don't know even what is. The Ghoul storyline is probably ruined, and Lucy is gonna also be ruined, so we have nothing good left.
station from the strip, and
Except watching the episodes and then talking about how much I hated everything, which is gonna be fun, at least for me.
literally just as I was writing the script for this video, the Gamora
Because I can already tell you, there is no chance in living hell I will like Season 2. Everything is just set up to fail.
has begun going up right alongside the Ultra Lux entrance. But yeah, all this definitely makes you wonder what exactly is going on here. We can tell that some sections of the strip are going to be full-on green screen and CG, but most of the major casinos are getting full-fledged entrances, definitely making me think that the main characters will actually go into some of these locations, and with what is likely the most relevant to
Why? They constantly make random things that no one cares about into real things, not CGI.
Season 2 storyline overall, the Lucky 38 getting both a sign and a physical entrance definitely makes it seem like somebody wants to get into this building. As things are left off in Season 1 of the Fallout TV show, at least 3 characters are headed to Vegas. Lucy's father Hank is seemingly going to be the one to arrive first, although we don't actually know why he went to Vegas. He sees Colt
Because House now is a part of the evil capitalists who wanted to kill the world because capitalism. That's why. And House didn't predict the nukes, he just forgot that they're gonna be fired, so Vegas fell. It is what it is.
fusion and then just kind of flies off. But then the Ghoul and Lucy are in tow, partially hunting down Hank, but also likely trying to find Cooper Howard's wife and daughter. These two characters have mysteriously been missing for the majority of Season 1, but in one of the credit scenes,
Because his wife is like one of the highest ranking people in the organization, but she somehow couldn't get a place for them and their children, and after he says, no, I'm not okay with this, she's like, okay, I'll guess you and the kid is gonna die then. Like, none of this makes sense.
for Season 1, we saw this Topps Cryo Suites billboard, and I just have to imagine that something is going to happen here, whether it be somebody frozen or recently unfrozen from the Topps. I imagine at least some of the characters headed to the strip are going to beeline it to this location to meet someone. Moldaver dies in Season 1, but we don't actually
Moldaver was a walking plot hole. Honestly, good thing she did die, because like hell anyone's gonna explain any bullshit about her properly.
know how she managed to survive hundreds of years both before and after the bombs drop. Those cryo suites might have some answers around that. But of course, if we're going to the Lucky 38, it also begs the question, could we see some of our favorite characters from the Fallout TV show knocking on the door of the Lucky 38 trying to talk to House? We'll talk about this a bit more later on in this video, but the Fallout TV show creators were asked by Todd Howard to not confirm a canon ending for any of the games.
By the way, one of the things that honestly has always bugged me about House is how fucking stupid he is. Make Roombas with knives, but don't make Roombas with practical arms that can make more Roombas or clean shit up. Yeah. Yeah.
Spoilers, but Robert House doesn't survive every Fallout New Vegas ending. So it creates a situation where if they even just show Robert House as being alive at the current time of the Fallout TV show, it would automatically rule out certain endings for Fallout New Vegas as being
Oh, who gives a shit which ending is canon or not at this point? The whole of the Fallout games are no longer canon because what they did with this series. Again, the retconning is beyond human here. The retconning is just insanity.
non-canon. So barring any kind of crazy retcon like House actually made a backup of himself or something like that, it doesn't actually seem plausible or possible that we'd be seeing House at the current time of the Fallout TV show. But it does seem very likely that we'll be seeing a pre-war Robert House, just like we saw in Season 1. But frankly, we're getting quite a bit ahead of ourselves here. While Hank was seemingly able to get to Vegas relatively quickly, that was thanks to flying. Lucy and the Ghoul have quite a trek ahead of them, because right now they're in LA and they have to get all the way to Las Vegas. And it does seem like a major portion of Season 2 will just be getting to Vegas. And these two characters are going to be going on a fairly familiar journey, as their paths should look fairly similar to what we take in the game, including some time in what looks like Freeside. This is an overhead view of that North Hollywood filming area with all the other Vegas signs around, but also a ton of campers. You can see the Welcome to the Strip entrance on the left, as well as the Welcome to Vegas sign right in the middle. And what I think is happening here is two separate filming areas, or perhaps several different filming areas. One will be the protagonist entering into the Vegas Strip, so you'll have that overview shot pointing towards that sign. But then separately, there's likely going to be exploring Freeside, checking out this Vegas sign, the typical Vegas sign that actually exists, seeing some of the casino signs in the backgrounds or the characters acknowledging them, and of course, you have all of these campers. These campers are very notable because it's a completely new thing, and one of the few new things that we could see in this scene. It's been 14 years since the events of Fallout New Vegas, and now that we see the Strip completely destroyed, I wonder if something happened here, leading to a ton of the nearby residents basically living just outside this Strip. It looks like all of these camper vans are going to be outside of the Vegas wall, just based off where we could see them.
By the way, you know what's my prediction, honestly? House is alive, so they can kill House, okay? They know that everyone wants to see House alive, obviously, so he's gonna be alive. But he's gonna be in a super bad situation, and he's gonna be like, you must do this to help me, blah, blah, blah. There's gonna be a mention of the platinum chip just in passing, and at some point, Lucy is gonna kind of help him, and he's gonna be like, yeah, now I'm gonna betray you for no reason. And then he gets killed. That's it. There is no world where Todd Howard allows anything from Fallout New Vegas to survive. It is dead. It will die. The NCR is dead. We're gonna probably later find the giant rad roaches killed the Caesar's Legion and some shit.
Here, so I almost wonder if there's going to be some kind of issue where the two main characters of Lucy and the Ghoul arrive at this location, but then can't actually get into the Vegas Strip for one reason or another. And perhaps that devolves into some kind of other storyline where you're interacting with whoever's living in all of these camper vans. But I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What do you make of these? It's one of the few new things we could see from the Season 2 filming, and I'm not entirely sure what the explanation of the campers are. But things are also headed to Novac. We can see a ton of set photos from Novac, including some shots of the iconic no vacancy sign and even Dinky the T-Rex being properly recreated for the show. So now seeing this, a ton of fans are immediately curious about a Boone cameo. Could we see one of the most iconic companions
Will we see Boone blowing his wife's brains out
from the Fallout franchise make an appearance in the TV show? Or really any of the other major New Vegas characters? The simple answer is yes. Technically, since 14 years have gone by, the showrunners kind of have this opportunity to go either direction here. It's totally plausible that Boone's still in this area, and we could have a really cool cameo with this character. I wouldn't be shocked if they do something like somebody gets sniped from afar and you don't necessarily know who, but you do.
Oh, that's the. Oh, by the way, this wasn't his wife. I'm just. This is the one that sold her wife and his wife in slavery. I'm just saying that as a fun fact because it's funny.
Do actually know who. But at the same time, it's 14 years. That's plenty of time for people to just wander off into other sections of the country. Or just dead. I mean, it's the wasteland. Things are dangerous. Living 14 more years isn't a given here. As of right now, it's not really clear if we're going to be getting cameos or not, but I wouldn't hold my breath for these. We didn't see many cameos in Season 1, so I can't imagine we're going to see a ton in Season 2. It'll likely more just be environmental or physical references, like how we're seeing this insanely accurate Vegas sign and things like Dinky the T-Rex being remade. And some rare footage of
Insanely accurate Vegas sign. Yeah. That's modern days.
the show actually being filmed. We could also see Lucy and the Ghoul and even Dogmeat adventuring around near an old Skylight drive-in. And I think altogether, this gives us a pretty good idea of what we should expect for at least some of Season 2. As honestly, I could see this being quite similar to Season 1 in a lot of ways. Lucy and the Ghoul have a big walk ahead of them, and I wouldn't be shocked if it takes several episodes to actually get to Vegas. And
I wouldn't be fucking shocked if they're honestly at Vegas on episode 2 because everyone knows that they're teleporting all over the place and no one knows where anything is or what distance even something is. So I would not be shocked in the slightest that they're just like at New Vegas in episode 2. Well, honestly, they're not going to be in New Vegas by episode 2. They're going to probably make it there by episode 4. Episode 3, they already see where it is, but something happens right before they get there, obviously. Flip that. And, you know, they're just gonna run into random shit. It's the same as season 1. The second half of the season was just a random wookie wacky things happening because reasons, and that was it. And then a bunch of teleportation.
am expecting this now because it would pretty closely parallel what they did with Season 1. You get a lot of big questions right as the show kicks off with the first few episodes and what's happening with the vault. But you don't really get the answers to those until the end. The middle of Season 1 of the Fallout TV show is kind of just a bunch of going around, doing random things, and having interesting interactions. So perhaps a lot of Season 2 is just getting to the Vegas Strip, but we don't actually see the Vegas Strip until episode 7 or 8 when things really start to pick up. You have to imagine Goodsprings will get a cameo at some point, particularly when you consider how big Fallout New Vegas Day in the real-life Goodsprings is becoming at this point. But one of the other big considerations going into Season 2 of Fallout is not just the fate of Vegas, but literally Fallout New Vegas. Leading up to the release of the Fallout TV show, we heard from one of the showrunners in an interview that Todd Howard asked for them to do one thing. From the top, Robertson Dwart said they were given only one ask by Todd Howard to make sure the series storyline didn't contradict any of the major possible endings of the games, which they respected, so they set their story within the same timeline with it taking place after Fallout 4. So Todd Howard didn't want the Fallout TV show to confirm a specific ending for the games, and this is only relevant for Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4. All of the other Fallout games already have a canon ending, but at the same time, so do Fallout 4 and New Vegas, at least kind of. While the showrunners definitely tried to not confirm any canon endings, this big airship that just newly showed up on the West Coast with a ton of Brotherhood of Steel members on board.
Oh yeah, a copy of the Pridwen.
And mind you, the last time we see the Brotherhood of Steel on the West Coast, they're literally hiding. So while we do kind of get an explanation in Season 1, we also have a ton of questions. Where did the Brotherhood get all of these additional resources? The obvious answer seems like wherever this big airship came from, if it came from some other part of the country, which it seemingly did. And this airship does look very similar to the Pridwen from Fallout 4. Did it just come all the way from Boston? And oh, would you look at that, on the side of the airship, it literally says the Pridwen. And in fact, the only time...
Wait, but wasn't this confirmed to be not the Pridwen, but just a copy of it? Like Pridwen 2 or some shit like that? I thought that was confirmed.
This airship is ever referred to as anything other than the Pridwen is in this one exclusive article from Variety. Everywhere in the show, this technically just has a Pridwen label on it. Almost like the Brotherhood of Steel sent an expedition from the East Coast to see what was going on the West Coast, which would also explain their sudden surge in equipment and numbers. And even the name might be a hint here. The Cassawanagan is technically what this airship is known as in the Fallout TV show, despite it saying the Pridwen on it. That's a funny name to choose, because the Cassawanagan was an alternative name used for King Arthur's ship, whose typical name was the Pridwen, which would imply that the Brotherhood of Steel at least survived the ending of Fallout 4. That only happens in either the Brotherhood or Minutemen endings of the game, which of course conflicts with that request from Todd Howard to not contradict
Wait. How, what? The Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 4 that comes is just an offshoot of a different Brotherhood of Steel that came in the Prydwen. It's not like the super main force of the Brotherhood. So even if that part of the Brotherhood gets clapped, there's still more Brotherhood out there.
To any potential endings. And honestly, I just bet internally that the Fallout TV show consider the
not that I honestly give a shit any longer, because again, the lore is just beyond damaged, beyond repair at this point.
Brotherhood ending canon, but they can't really say that. So instead, we get the cheeky naming of the Cassawinnan, which is really just the Prydwen. And this very likely will be explored further in Season 2. I can't imagine this giant airship is just going to disappear now. And I think the Brotherhood of Steel have a lot more story to tell, particularly on the extreme side of this faction. We know that Maximus is starting to have some issues with how they're conducting.
Oh no. But actually, you know what? If I'm honestly excited for something, I want to see how they handle the Brotherhood of Steel and whatever the fuck Maximus is gonna do with them, okay? Because this Brotherhood of Steel is literally kind of non-stop Nepo baby retards. All of them are either Nepo babies or they're stupid. They have no honor, no discipline, no code, no nothing, and they operate completely at random, it seems like. Like, an organization like this would not even survive until Tuesday, if this was even remotely real. And Maximus is a moron who has no idea what the hell he himself even wants. He's that dumb. So I want to know how this is gonna end. I honestly don't even know if Maximus put the razor blades inside of that, boot, or yes or no. I don't even know that. I can't tell. I don't know which is the actual outcome. Did he do it because he wanted to be a knight, or did he not do it because friendship fucking matters? My Little Pony type? I don't know. I don't know. He is so poorly defined, I cannot grasp what his motivation actually even is.
Themselves. But even further, we have to see where things go with Thaddeus's plotline. He is seemingly turning into a mutant, as we see at the end of Season 1, and as a member of the Brotherhood of Steel, let's just say that the Brotherhood don't love mutants. I have to imagine that whole thing's going to go somewhere. But of course, where this request from Todd Howard is going to be even more relevant for Season 2 of the Fallout TV show is when it comes to the canon ending of Fallout New Vegas. They have a really nice buffer here. Fallout New Vegas is set 15 years prior to the events of the show, and if anything, Season 2 will be even later than that, at least somewhat. But this really does feel like an immense ask from Todd Howard. The Fallout TV show is going to Vegas, but he doesn't want the show to reveal which ending of Fallout New Vegas is canon? That seems hard, and in fact, Todd Howard talked about this very challenge very recently.
And if anything,
honestly, what does it even matter which ending is canon at this point? Well, okay. BC 0 Caesar's Legion, which means Caesar's Legion did not win. But then again, it doesn't matter because everything is destroyed, so who cares who win? If the NCR won, who gives a shit? They got literally nuked. If the Legion won, who cares? They got killed by Deathclaws. If House won, who cares? He's destroyed. Like, what does it matter which ending is actually canon?
Show is leaning into, right, the events there.
Just a bit by that final shot of the show. Yeah, just a bit is leaning in.
Yeah, and obviously Season 2 is going to be featuring some of New Vegas, and we're careful about, maintaining the key events of that game and the great content in it. It is obviously difficult to deal with when you're going back to an area where a game had multiple endings.
Yep.
We have some answers there, but it's hard. It is, I'll just admit, everybody realizes it's hard to sort of canonize or say this is exactly how that game ended. And so whenever we can,
I want to listen to Todd Howard.
Is really to just avoid talking about things that would confirm a specific ending, which is likely how we got this Shady Sands arrow. I imagine this is an arrow and not a year due to trying to keep things vague. And in my opinion, when you're coming this up close to the lore, like, yeah, we are literally going directly into the Vegas Strip, and it's only been 15 years, that's really not that long, this vague approach is the wrong approach, in my opinion. Fans are going to deduce which ending makes the most sense canonically, based off what's shown in Season 2 of the show, and I feel like just owning one ending or another would have been better, rather than trying to take this vague, let's not answer any questions approach. Because in all likelihood, the house ending will be the one that makes the most sense here, but it probably won't be confirmed by Season 2. We can see a ton of destroyed Securitrons in this post-credit scene, and overall, the destroyed state of the NCR in Vegas would make sense with the
Well, yeah, because they got fucking nuked.
house ending. They really can't show House alive in Season 2, at least in a post-apocalyptic time, because that of course would automatically confirm one ending or another. So instead, I think it's this annoying situation where the writer
Nah, they're gonna show House alive. There's no way that people are just gonna accept it. Oh, House is dead. You know, an off thing that they go into the Lucky and, you know, oh, here's this guy in the tube dead, so, well, shit.
writers just seem kind of cornered into Vegas being a largely destroyed area, as we kind of saw it, but we won't know exactly what happened here or what happened to all of the major factions. So instead, we're just going to get a bunch of vague flybys and loose explanations on what actually happened. And as a simple example of this keep it vague ideology in practice, all throughout the show, we saw the NCR is pretty run down, far from their New Vegas glory, but in an interview after release, Todd Howard said, and look, if you look at the background, the NCR is a wide-ranging sort of organization and goes across not just California, but other places. So the show focuses on this period of time and this group here, and that's what we could say right now. But I don't think you've heard the last of the NCR. So it's all kind of just...
Also, by the way, I just want to mention one thing. I don't think I have ever talked about this, but yeah, the NCR is not dead. Even if you nuke their main city, which is in, you know, of Shady Sands, even if you nuke that, they probably have a billion trillion posts outside of that. The NCR should still be a very, very, very big contender in the power struggle game. Sure, you nuke their main city, but I mean, nuking the main city is just nuking a lot of people, not actually NCR itself, okay? And the people who got nuked probably are, well, we got nuked, we survived, let's now maybe go and make another one because, you know, making another NCR main place is better than just living in the desert all by myself. So, the NCR should actually be still a force, okay?
whatever they want to happen. This is completely new lore, and with 15 years having gone by, a lot of things are potentially possible. And like this example with the NCR, we see them on screen in one way, but you could always just explain it away by saying, well, oh yeah, there's a bunch of other people somewhere else that are actually better equipped and have better numbers. I think just inherently making a TV show about Fallout when you're going to the West Coast, when you're going to the Vegas Strip specifically, is going to be difficult.
Nice.
But to me, when you go about it in this way, trying not to confirm anything one way or another from the game's endings, it just makes the entire task significantly more complicated and difficult, to the point where most of the Fallout creators I've talked to about this do think that Season 2 is going to have even more in the way of controversy, plot holes, and issues around.
This location is kind of rarer. I never found anything useful here, but it's right above New Vegas almost. It's in that region. A little bit New Vegas and a little bit in that position for you, I think, because it's reversed. Not a lot there except this corpse right here. Not really too useful, but I mean, it's a location that a lot of people never go to. I somehow stumble here constantly. I don't know how.
Around that stuff. And just put simply, I think talking about Season 2 of the Fallout TV show after release online is going to be annoying. I think what we saw from Season 1 was just a preview of a much larger issue we'll see even further with Season 2. I'm still incredibly excited, don't get me wrong.
Good stuff. Anyway, yeah, that was Juicehead, Fallout TV show, disaster, 10 out of 10. Hopefully Lucy becomes a stripper and my wife. Bye!